Hello and welcome. I'm John, your safety trainer, here with today's lesson for managers about active construction sites during a pandemic. Before we begin, remember to sign off on your mobile device or online to receive credit for this training. If you feel the need to pause this video at any time to have a discussion, we encourage you to do so. During pandemics, construction sites may remain active as they normally are considered to be an essential business. As a pandemic progresses, many managers may not know what to do or what policies and guidelines to follow, as they can continually change. In this lesson, we will go over best practices recommended for active sites, such as hand washing and other hygiene habits, social distancing, and offering support to employees. One of the biggest challenges for managers can be raising awareness of an important issue. When dealing with a rampant disease and to help spread awareness of what the site is doing to combat it, it is first recommended that you prominently post signs at the entrance. These postings should contain information about the site's response to the pandemic and ask both visitors and employees to take extra precautions. Postings should include, but not be limited to, the following. When employees or guests are not allowed on the job site, for example, if they are showing symptoms such as fever, coughing, shortness of breath, and any other flu-like symptoms. What employees and guests should do when they are on the job site, such as hand washing, social distancing, etc., and who employees or guests should notify if they are symptomatic. To further help minimize the spread of disease on the site, you should encourage or require employees to wash their hands with soap and water for a minimum of 20 seconds. If soap or water are not available, employees should use a hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. In addition to hand washing, employees should avoid touching their faces as much as possible and practice proper coughing and sneezing etiquette, such as coughing or sneezing into their elbow or a tissue. Also remember that all used tissues should be thrown away after use, and hands should be washed or sanitized after throwing the tissue away. Unfortunately, even the best hygiene practices may not keep employees from getting sick. Therefore, if an employee starts to show symptoms while on the site, it is recommended that the employee be separated from healthy employees until the time that they can leave the site. Hey everyone, if you just watched this video and are thinking, how do I get more of these videos? Click on this link or go to GotSafety.com and we'll show you how you can digitally sign and record employee training records, build custom forms, or even access your OSHA documentation. Go to GotSafety.com right now or call 1-800-734-3574 for more information.